What's up guys, Phantom here, back with episode 54 of my F1 2019 career mode, as we are going to Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix for round 11 of season 3. As you can see, we've repurchased our failed drag upgrade, as we are still the 5th best team on the grid in terms of car performance here, as it has completed, as we were working on a weight reduction for which will be ready by either Hungary or Belgium, as we will go to qualifying.
Waiting for the lights to turn green in the pit lane to signify the start of the session here at the Hockenheim ring for this weekend's German Grand Prix. In recent seasons, much talk has been made about tyre wear. Some say it gets in the way of the racing, others say it's always been part of the sport. Are we going to see drivers trying to look after their tyres here, or throw caution to the wind and worry about that when it becomes a problem?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
As we start out here in Q2, as we of course easily made it through Q1, as it's not been easy this year, as we've failed multiple times, as we are coming on to start our flying lap, as we are now exiting the stadium section, as we are going really wide there, as we are getting a lot of understeer because of how this car performs, as we will finish P9, as our teammate Raikkonen is in 13th position there, as Sainz is actually first in Q2. But as we move on to Q3, is now once again, I don't know what it is about this season, but it is raining, but we are on dry tires once again. This is probably the 4th session / race or something like that where it's rained, but it has not rained hard enough for intermediates, as we are coming through the 3rd sector here onto the start finish straight, and we will come across the line in P2 and end up P3 behind Verstappen and Bottas, who is on pole for the German Grand Prix, as we will move on to the race.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. With average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour, the Hockenheim ring is a quick circuit with a lap distance of 2.8 miles, around 17 corners. The main DRS zone through Parabolica leads into the hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Considering the rest of the grid, we have old-timer Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Perez, Stroll, Hamilton and Lucas Faber, Norris, Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen and Butler, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Kvyat. Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid, and with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P3 after our qualifying performance here, as the flag lights are on and they are out, and we get a good initial launch against Vettel there, as we'll go around his outside here of turn 1 side by side, as Bottas has already flown away by probably a second there, as we will have to yield here to Vettel, and will allow us to get his slipstream down the back stretch here, as we are really quick against the Ferrari, as you can see here in his toe, as we're going to go to the inside here, and he's going to squeeze us all the way to the curb there, as we're going to brake a little bit early there, as we're kind of pinched, as we're going to use him as kind of as a turn in there. But on the lap 3 here, we get a very bad run out of the final corner, as Vettel will go to our outside. We're going to force him out, as he's going to run a little bit out there, and he will collide with Verstappen, and Verstappen has gone under him. Vettel has been mounted, and Verstappen is out of the race, as you can see here on the replay. We're going to force him to go around the outside. He goes off track there, and he comes right back on with Verstappen and makes contact as we come on with signs here, as he will get collected, and Vettel will lose his right front wheel and will be also out of the race here, as you can see from the long shot here. They almost came back onto the circuit there, as some cars kind of pulled to the inside there, as you will see here on notification that Verstappen and Vettel are out of the race there. As after all this, Leclerc has been keeping us company the whole entire way, but we will not be able to catch Bottas in this stint, as we are coming into the pits here at the end of lap 5 for a pretty early pit stop here, trying to get the undercut on Bottas, as we are about 2.5 seconds behind them, as we will come into the pits here and have a 2.1 second pit stop, almost a 2.2, as we will rejoin in 17th. But as we come out of the pit stops here, it looks that Russell has had a mechanical failure and will park it right on the apex there, as we kind of have to undercut him, as he is being a real nuisance there. As you can see, he kind of just had a mechanical failure there on that side stretch there, as we will come on to lap 7 here, as Leclerc has pitted but Bottas has stayed out, and Leclerc is on hard tires, so his team's just throwing away the strategy right there. While he's kept up with us on this lap, he is not going to be able to keep up with us over the entire stint, as Bottas is coming out of the pit stops there, as he's about 2.8 seconds ahead of us, as you can see there, as we go across the line. But just like last year when we were trying to chase down Leclerc, we are definitely reeling him in at 2.3. But unlike Leclerc, we cannot get to Leclerc, and more importantly, we cannot get into his DRS as we set the fastest lap. That would really hurt us against Leclerc last year, as we cannot get in his DRS at all. As we come onto the backstretch on lap 12, and we have crucially gotten into our DRS, and we will close right up to him all the way back down. We gained probably 3/4 of a second as we come into the braking zone here at the hairpin, and we are right on his gearbox as he kind of pulls away now, as we come onto lap 13 with full DRS this time, not just for the last straight there, as we will kind of ride out there a little bit on the curb, as these DRS zones are helping us keep up with him, and he will be a sitting duck on that back stretch there. As you saw in the last lap, we have so much more straight line speed than he does. Even without DRS, we were really closing him down there, as we will make a pretty easy move. He doesn't even really try to fight, as we kind of almost met in the middle there, as we get it woed up, slowed down, and turn in for the hairpin there, as we'll break his slipstream just a little bit there, as we try to help as much as we can. As on the final lap here, Hamilton has set the fastest lap, and Bottas started to make a little bit run at us at the end here, but it was far too late. Those 2-lap-old newer tires could not help. We have won the German Grand Prix.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
A victory for Alfa Romeo. The team will certainly be celebrating tonight. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them is losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory from the Alfa Romeo team. So let's review the updated driver's standings. Oldtimer takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, it's got to be Kevin Magnussen. He displayed exceptional skill out on the track today and wasn't afraid to fight his way through the pack.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.